fuck? It's for the wrong game. Alright, fuck. Outlast 2 is one of a few disappointments this year. The other being Trump. But all honestly, Outlast 2 is just a really big disappointment of a game. Its original game, Outlast, that came out a while back, was actually a pretty successful game. Everyone was talking about it, everyone really liked it. Personally, I didn't think it was amazing, but I actually enjoyed it for the most part. It's just one of those games that you can play easily within one night with your buddies or with yourself, and play it throughout the night and throughout the early morning, and actually have a few scares. And it did that really, really well. So when I heard about the sequel coming out, I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, you know, there's so much potential with this game. You know, the location of this is now a cannibal site, you know, and you got all these types of mysteries and possibilities. I really was worrying that this would be like a supernatural type thing, like the first one was, because I really feel like that took away from the game. Yeah, this is when the game started to go downhill. Outlast 2 is about a camera dude. I actually can't remember the guys' names, that's how forgettable this game is. You got someone called Lynn, who is your wife, and you keep on thinking about this girl called Jessica in your dreams. And the wife didn't really seem all that concerned. And then basically they're out in this, you know, field because they heard about a murder. And so they land and shit goes down because the helicopter gets like taken down because of this big bright light that's supposedly an EMP. Shit starts to hit the fan pretty quickly. And that's already an issue with the game. The game goes way too quickly into the scares. And the worst part is that the first person you meet is the main boss lady throughout the whole fucking game. You know, this big build up to this boss that's just gone out already. So you continue to, you know, do the same thing. You're trying to find your wife because she got lost within the wreckage. Eventually you find your wife in a church and she supposedly has been impregnated. Like, I did like the game up to this point, I really did. But then it just went downhill. Because the game got really repetitive with its scares. Like, you literally do the same thing over and over again. I know in Outlast you pretty much did that as well, but the way they balanced it between the bosses and just the cutscenes and whatnot, it worked really well. In this, you play so many hours just running about in this game. And the worst part is that you don't know where an ending path is. So for instance, when you're getting chased all the time, you constantly get killed because you have no fucking clue where to go. So it really starts to piss you off. And then this is when the game really loses its scares, is that once you've been killed like multiple times by the only thing that's been chasing you, you just lose your scare because you know exactly what the fuck's gonna happen. You just have this stupid cutscene of you getting stabbed by a southern prick. But it's kind of it's just, you know, you just don't care. You no longer get scared to go up to that hillbilly that's wanting to eat you anymore. You just get really pissed off. You get aggressive and you become impatient and you just want to get past. You know, you're just sitting there like going, I want to fucking just get past already. I don't want to fucking sit here and get chased by these things. Not in a scary way, but in an aggressive, angry, impatient way. And that's when you know the game fucks up. The narrative of this fucking story is pretty messy too. And it actually really pissed me off. Because throughout the whole game, you're kind of trying to find where your wife is. Because she's supposedly been impregnated now. And it takes forever. It takes fucking forever. You kind of just sit there going, I just want to finish this game. I don't even care anymore about this wife. I just want to find her and get out. But the thing is, I also wanted to know what the hell was the build-up for this game. Because throughout the whole game, there's no narrative at all. There's no real story except from you trying to get your wife. And then these flashbacks you keep getting. But I'll talk about that later on because that's a completely whole nother story. But your wife, yeah, you're just trying to find your wife. So until you find your wife at the end of the game, You then kind of find out what this is all about, but then you actually don't. So throughout the whole game, you're like, okay, I'm waiting for this ending. I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen. I'm waiting. Possibly the worst fucking ending to any horror game I've ever played. Period. Actually, it might be the worst ending to any game I've ever played. I'm not joking. It is really shit. And the thing is, I can't explain why it's shit. Because I'll ruin the game. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna ruin the game. I don't care about this game.
Oh God! Oh God!
Boy, we got that Antichrist. What the fuck do I do with this? Like, stomp on it? The fucking world just blow up?
Quietly to sleep. Watchful Savior, wash away all I've been wrong today. Help me every
That's
day
such
to
a
be
fucking
gentle,
shit ending.
gentle, more like thee.
Are you fucking kidding? The story is just retarded. You find the baby, and then the fucking world explodes. And then you get this cutscene back to the flashbacks that you've been having, which make no fucking sense. The flashbacks in this movie keep taking you back to this school. And to be fair, these are probably the scariest parts of the game, because it's such a, you know, claustrophobic area, and, you know, secondary school, whatever school, was fucking creepy. Who's supposedly your friend back in, like, preschool? I don't know if it's called preschool. And you find out disturbing things, like the priest supposedly molesting her, killed herself, but they actually made it look like she did it when she didn't do it, like the priest made her do it. And this leads nowhere. It doesn't mix with the story. It makes no sense. Like, they add this whole flashback, and you're like, okay, this is gonna end with the movie somehow. But it fucking doesn't. The ending cutscene is you praying with the girl. And I was like, so what's the connection? You have to pray and not let the world blow up? It makes no fucking sense. It really doesn't. I mean, other than the fact that the graphics look nice in this game, and that it sounds really cool, and that there are some scares towards the first hour or two of the game, this game really lacks. It really does lack. It's such a big disappointment, because this game had so much potential. I was really looking forward for them to use this location, you know, the cannibals and shit. And the ending made no fucking sense. I had to Google what it meant. Basically, the ending to this game is that throughout the whole of the game, even in that opening cutscene, that's you getting hit by the corporation. You know, the corporation in the first game. Apparently, they're like throwing like microwave signals at your face so that you absorb radiation, and it makes you hallucinate. When I read this, I shit you not, I actually broke my keyboard. That's why I got this new one that's actually cooler, and it's got RGB colors on it. Basically, everything you see is pretty much fake. The cannibals I don't think are real. The pregnant wife is never real. Your wife is real, but the pregnancy was fake. I don't even know if the world blowing up was real or not, but I couldn't really give a fuck at this point. You know, they could have really used the cannibal land, but they didn't. And yeah, the only things that make this game worthwhile is its improved graphics and great sound. Some of the scares are pretty good. What else? I think that's actually it. I think that's actually all that fucking scared me in this game. Is there anything else? I like the location too. I really like the fact they were using cannibals. Even though in the game, they really didn't use the cannibalism a lot, which really pissed me off because in the demo they use it so often. If I was to rate this game at all, I'd have to give it like a 4 out of 10. It really is that disappointing. I wouldn't even recommend to buy it now at £25. I paid that money. I paid that to play this game. I'm a student. I'm broke enough as it is. I actually wanted to just get scared throughout the night, but instead I was fucking pissed off throughout the whole thing. So that's my review or analysis of a wasted opportunity in this game. Yeah, It's not great. I think the only time you should get this game is if it's free on the PlayStation Plus thing, you know, the monthly thing. And now on to the other disappointment of the year, Donald Trump.
You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
Well, that doesn't really need a video, that just speaks for itself. I'm always up for doing games and videos and movies, and yeah, let me know. Peace.